How are you all?
Good ma'am.
Okay. Can we start the class or we'll wait for 2 minutes? Can anyone drop the message in group that class has started? We'll wait for 2 minutes, then we'll start the class. Can I proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
So today we are going to start our next service, that is Lambda. So Lambda is automation. Cloud, like cloud engineer, have 5 pillars based on 5 pillars. Network, which is VPC service, security, which is IAM service, and servers, that is EC2 service, storage, that is EC2, EBS, S3, AFS, and automation. Under automation, there are 2 services, CloudFormation and AWS-Lambda. So we have completed services, right? Under security, network, servers, and storage. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So today we are going to start services that is under automation. What is automation? Anything which is
Something which does not require manual
require human
changes.
interference,
Yes.
right? So these 2 services, CloudFormation and Lambda, does not require human interference. So now we are starting with AWS Lambda. In Lambda, we are going to learn what is Lambda, use case of Lambda, frequently asked questions, and how Lambda works. So let's start. Now, Lambda is a serverless computing service. What is servers? Anyone? What is server?
Server is the large scale of what hard disk and CPU
Yeah.
and the RAM.
Yes, very good. So this is a EC2 service. Under EC2 servers, we launch servers, right? What we do? We select operating system. We select RAM and CPU. We select network. We select the volume, the hard disk, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Then we launch a server. So what we require while launching server? We require operating system, we require RAM, CPU, and hard disk. Yes, on operating system, while we connect to Linux is an operating system, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
When we connect to Linux, on Linux, we can install applications, right?
Yes.
Java, Python, HTTP, the softwares. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So now this EC2 service requires operating system, RAM, CPU, hard disk. Whereas in Lambda does not require RAM, CPU, storage, operating system, which makes Lambda as a serverless computing service. Clear everyone? What is serverless computing service? What is serverless? Which does not require RAM, CPU, storage, operating system. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Just understand this terminology, serverless. What is serverless?
It
Does not require
It doesn't require
storage
human
OS.
interference.
Yes, very good. Now only customer needs to select runtime in Lambda. What is runtime? Runtime is basically the languages, programming languages, be it Java, .NET, Python. Lambda supports 5 languages: Java, .NET, Python, Ruby, Node.js. These languages Lambda supports. And the pricing factor here is pay only when you run code. It's like in Lambda, you will dump a code. You will dump a code of any language, be it Java, .NET or Python. You dump the code and you get charges only when the code is run. When you run the code, you will get the charges. But there is no storage charges and computing charges. Only the charges is when the code is run. Clear? Pricing factor of Lambda.
Yes, ma'am.
How many languages Lambda supports? 5. Java, .NET, Python, Ruby, Node.js. Clear? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So let's understand in detail about
Java,
Lambda,
Python, Ruby.
Ruby, Node.js.
5 Java,
Node.js.
Python, Ruby, Node.js.
Sorry. No, Lambda only supports these languages, not other languages. Clear? What's
Yes,
the
ma'am.
pricing factor of Lambda?
Pay only when you run code.
Okay. Pay when you only run code. Clear, everyone?
Yes,
Can I proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now, this is a Flipkart application. Flipkart needs to sponsor me for its recording, right? Okay. So every application, this is an application, right? Flipkart is a software application. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
How it's created?
It's a web
By
Through
coding.
programming the software.
web
Yes.
application and
Yes, by
Web
coding,
by
right?
yeah app
And how coding is done?
by application software
By programming
by programming
languages.
languages.
And where are there that programming languages installed?
Ha,
On operating
operating
system,
system.
Operation.
right? So in Lambda, you don't require operating system. You only require programming languages, the code. So this is a Flipkart application. The whole applications run on one server, right? This login page, this cart, become a seller, and this search. These features run on one application, one server, right? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in earlier days, the whole application used to run only on one server. The features, the login feature, cart feature, search feature, everything used to run on one server. That is known as monolithic. Please write notes, everyone. Monolithic. What is monolithic? Where the whole application runs on one server. Now it has changed. Now every feature is running on multiple servers. That is known as microservices. Login feature in background, it has a server, a different server. Clusters, basically clusters, identical servers. Login feature is running on clusters. Cart feature is running on different clusters, different servers. This feature, become a seller feature, is running on different servers. This search bar is running on different servers. This is known as microservices.
Basically, you mean that the small, what to say?
Every feature. This is
Yes, the
features.
small features are running on each server, which is
Each
called
server,
cluster.
which is
The combination of that is called cluster.
cluster. Yes, two or identical servers, two or more servers is known as cluster. So every feature in background is running on different clusters. For example, now this is my AWS. This is a software, right? Application. Now my this account, this feature is running on different clusters. This search bar is running on different clusters. Services is running on different clusters. Now only one EC2 service, if I choose a EC2 service, its background is running on different servers. Clear? It's known as microservices. Monolithic, earlier it was the whole application used to run only on one server. But now every feature is running on multiple servers, different servers. Clear? Earlier, if something happened to my login feature, in monolithic, if
One.
something happened to my login feature, then we need to change the whole application, right? But now,
Yes.
because of microservices, if something happens to a login feature, every other feature will run good. But we can change the code of login feature. This is the benefit of monolithic and microservices. Clear?
It's like in the Flipkart instance.
Every application,
No, in the
be it
Flipkart
Flipkart,
instance,
Netflix,
there are under that there are number clusters, or there are like one cluster, two cluster, three cluster, four cluster.
multiple clusters based on the load. That the balancing, it's known as auto scaling and load balancing. It's a different service in AWS that you will learn in advanced level, where every application runs on multiple clusters, identical servers. Clear?
Yeah, clear.
Monolithic and microservices, yes or
Yes,
no?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, for example, now this my login feature is running on EC2 server. My the search bar, the login, the card, the whole application, Flipkart application, everything is running on EC2 server. EC2 server. So my Flipkart application will run 24/7. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
This application is running 24/7. So now the charges, the computing charges, the storage charges, the company needs to pay for 24 hours, right?
Yes.
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 In Lambda, it's like, now I'm the user. This search bar is used by 95%. 95% of public are using this search bar. And 10%, 5% of people are using login. They are visiting this login page, 5% people. And search bar, 95% people. I'm talking about microservices here, where search bar is running on different server, login is running on different server. These features are running on different servers. So now this getting 95% of public search, and login is getting 5% of public. People are visiting, only 5% people are visiting login. Still, I need to pay for 24 hours, right? The computing charges and storage.
Yes.
But in Lambda, it's like, when you visit only login page, if only 5% people are using, if I'm the user, I'm using login page. So in background, when I use login page, the code will run. So the company needs to pay only for when the code is run. Clear? I don't need to pay for 24 hours like in EC2. In Lambda, how we need to pay?
Pay as you go. How much you
No.
use, you should pay.
Pay as you go. Yeah.
Yes.
Pay as you run the
Pay
code.
when you
Run
run the
the
code.
code.
Pay as you run
Pay
the
when
code.
you run the code. No storage charges, no computing charges. Only pay when you run the code. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you saving cost here
Yes,
in
Yes.
ma'am.
Lambda?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So understood everyone? The
Yes,
difference
ma'am.
between EC2 and Lambda,
Yes, ma'am.
monolithic and microservices?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I proceed now?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
So now the benefits of Lambda. There are no servers to manage. Yes, it's a benefit, right? No servers to manage. Continuous scaling, like when if public hits the server, according to the traffic, it increases and it decreases the size. Clear everyone? And millisecond metering. So Lambda automation is based on two things, two parameters. One is it helps in application. It helps in application. The second, it helps in automate the maintenance. Mostly it helps in automate the maintenance. Clear everyone? It's based on two parameters. One is first
Lambda
automation
automate
to run application.
maintenance.
The first is in applications, in microservices. The second is to automate maintenance. For
Ma'am, can you
example,
please repeat?
there is a company. The company is working for 24 hours. In that 24 hours, we need to run the server. There are the servers in that 24 hours. The working hours is only 8 hours. Understand this scenario. The scenario is based on how to automate the maintenance. So there is a company. The company is for 24 hours. In that 24 hours, 8 hours are the working hours. Clear? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Or
Yes,
no?
ma'am.
Okay. So now they are the servers. There is a cloud engineer who needs to run the server. The server needs to run from only for 8 hours, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The servers, we need to run the server only for 8 hours. That is from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Clear?
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
if an employee, he wants to start the server. So manually, at 9 a.m. he needs to start the server. Then again at 5 p.m. he needs to stop the servers manually, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes.
our human
Yes.
tendency, we forget.
Yes.
So instead of stopping at 5 p.m., he stopped at 7 p.m. So 2 hours charges, right? Company gets 2 hours charges.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So to avoid this, we use Lambda or Lambda service. In Lambda, we automate the time. We automate. Like in Lambda, the resource of Lambda is functions, where we create functions. Under functions, we dump a code. How many languages code we can dump? How many
Five
languages
languages.
does
Five languages. Five.
Java,
Java, Python, Ruby, .NET,
.NET,
and
Node.js.
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 So these are the languages. These languages codes we can dump on in Lambda. So Lambda functions is the resource of Lambda. In functions, first we need to create functions. In functions, we need to dump a code. In the code, we'll write start the server. In the code, we'll write start the server. Then automatically, and there is a other service that is known as event bridge. We are going to learn other service, that is event bridge. In event bridge, we specify the time. At what time the servers need to start and stop. So in functions, what we do in Lambda, we write the code to start the service as at this particular time, 9 a.m. start the servers. Then at 9 p.m. and 5 p.m. stop the servers. Clear everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
So in Lambda,
Yes, ma'am.
automatically it starts the servers and it stops
ma'am.
the servers. How? We create a function, and in that function we dump a code. In that code, it will be written that start the server, will give the instance IDs in the code. At that point, and in event bridge, we specify the time. According to this, it will start the servers, it will stop the servers at the particular time without human interference. Clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Understood the scenario?
Yes, ma'am.
Sure?
Yes, ma'am.
Can anyone explain?
Ma'am, first parameter you take, ma'am.
That is, it in Lambda is based on two factors. Like first factor, it helps in applications. I have explained, right? The microservices.
Yeah.
It saves the cost. And second factor is to automate the maintenance. Just cloud engineer, he needs to create the function, he needs to dump the code, he needs to specify the event bridge, and automatically every day at 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At 9 a.m. this service will start and 5 p.m. Service will stop automatically without human interference.
We need to write the functions there.
Yes, we need to create the function and we need to write the code and we need to specify the time by using which service? Event bridge. Understood, everyone? Just understand the scenario here.
Ma'am, I have a doubt. You said there are two parameters to run the app, right?
Yes.
So-
No, Lambda is based on two factors. One, where we create in applications, it helps in applications. And the second factor, it helps in automate the maintenance.
These are like features of Lambda.
Yes, features of Lambda. Clear?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
In application, it helps developers. It saves the cost, like 75%, 75 GB is free in Lambda. Whereas in EC2, how many GB is free? 30. But here
So
75 GB
how many
is free.
GB, ma'am? It saves how many GB?
Lambda, 75 GB is free in Lambda.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Okay. So the benefits: continuous scaling, millisecond metering, it increases innovation, modernize your applications, and support for developers. The application, it helps to create small applications. This Lambda helps to create small applications.
Ma'am, please don't change the slide. Just 2 seconds.
Okay. It monitor milliseconds. Like our code is run for 3 seconds, then it will charge for 3 seconds, right?
Yes.
So it's millisecond metering. It increases innovation, where we save the cost. 24 hours cost is saved. Just you need to pay when the code is run. Then you run the code. Clear, everyone?
Clear, ma'am.
If I explain to
Done, ma'am.
slides before, you will not understand. That's why I have explained by giving example. So the use case of Lambda is like you can shut down, start, stop, instance, backup, upgrade on a specific time regularly without human interference. And also you can invoke S3 data by code function and insert into database. For example, there is a code, there is a data in S3 bucket. Okay, this is a person. He wants to upload a electricity bill online. This is a person, understand the scenario. This is the person, he wants to upload a electricity bill, but he cannot upload due to internet connection. There is a low internet connection in his area, so he cannot upload. So what he did, he uploaded his electricity bill in Amazon. In Amazon bucket, in S3 bucket, he have uploaded his electricity bill. So now the role of Lambda here is Lambda can fetch this data and the Lambda can send the data, transfer the data into database. Here he cannot upload directly into database. This person, he wants to upload the electricity bill, right?
Okay.
If he uploads the electricity bill, where it will be uploaded in the database, right?
Right.
But due to internet connection,
He's unable to do that.
Yes, he was unable to do that. So instead of that, what he did, he uploaded in S3 bucket, in Amazon S3.
Okay.
Now the role of Lambda here is it will regularly monitor the S3. As soon as something is uploaded, it will notify to Lambda.
Okay.
So that Lambda fetches that upload the data, the electricity bill, and transfer it into database.
Of the electricity board.
Yes.
Lambda
Yes.
automatically it will notify.
Yes,
Right?
automatically. This is known as automation. Clear, everyone? One, it can start, stop, upgrade, shut down the servers. Second, it can automatically in S3, from S3, if someone uploads something, it can directly transfer to database by using Lambda function and event bridge. Clear?
Yes,
Or
ma'am.
no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So it continuously process the data, analyze the data, and it run microservices with API gateway. API gateway is basically a interface between user and microservices, the features. For example, this is a Flipkart application. I'm the user. This is the application. This is a login feature. Okay, if I'm clicking login feature here, in between there is a API gateway which accept the request of users and send the request to the feature. Then we get this page. This is due to API gateway. Clear, everyone? API gateway we'll learn in detail. It's a whole different service. For now, just understand this. It's an interface between user and microservices. These are microservices. These features are microservices. Clear, everyone? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so understood the theory, everyone? Yes? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Sure?
Yes, ma'am.
So in lab, what we are going to do now?
We need to create functions and
Just
We are going to
small
create
brief, please.
In
functions.
function, we dump a code.
Yes.
In
ma'am,
code,
we
we
need to
load and
write the
stop the
code.
servers.
Okay. So what we are going to do, we are going to create EC2 servers. We are going to create a function. Under that function, we are dumping a code. Two codes, start a server, stop a server, or any one code also we can dump. Then we are also going to use one more service, that is IAM. Do you all remember IAM role? What is IAM role? I have just
Identity
explained
access
the IAM role.
management. Identity access management to protect our account. We
Yes.
we
So in
provide the
IAM, there are four
credentials
components, right? Users, groups, roles,
and
and
policies.
Policies.
policies. Roles, we haven't created the roles.
Yes, ma'am.
What
Yes,
I
ma'am.
said, what are roles? To communicate from one service to
Another
another service.
service.
So in AWS, one service and other service cannot communicate. To make them communication, we need to create IAM role.
Oh.
So what are we going to do now? First,
We
we are
create
going to create
EC2
EC2
servers,
servers.
and then functions
then
and we
two
dump it
servers.
to
Second, we are going to create IAM role.
Second, I
Third, we are going to create
function
functions.
and we dump it
Under
to
functions,
codes.
we are going to dump a code.
Start
In
server
code, we
and stop
create start
server.
and stop
Then,
the server.
Event
yes,
bridge.
then we are going to create event bridge. These are the labs we are going to do. Have you all understood the scenario of automation, Lambda automation?
Yes, ma'am.
With Lambda, we can start the service automatically. We can start the service, stop the service, shut down the servers without human interference. Lambda is based on two factors, right? One is to create applications and the second
automate
microservice
the
applications,
maintenance.
and second is to maintain
Maintain.
Maintenance.
automation, maintenance automation. So labs we are going to do automation, maintenance automation. In that, this is a whole project where we are going to create a servers, we are going to create IAM role, we are going to create functions. In that functions we are dumping a code. In that code it will be written start the server at this part, start the server and stop the server, and in event bridge we will specify the time. At 9 a.m. start the servers, at 5 p.m. stop the servers. Clear? Yes or
Yes,
no?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Can I proceed with labs or do you want 5 minutes?
5 minutes, ma'am.
Okay. Take 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, we'll start with labs. Until then, if you have any doubts, please clarify.